After 3 games, Roger Schmidt is still looking for the magic formula, but don't look now. There's 6 days left in the transfer season. Lots of rumors. We got you covered. And Cristiano's here. Another night, another podcast. See you in a bit.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero o manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estádio e assustá-los, pá! É isso que eu quero!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Doll Benfica podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumacic. 533 is what we're up to. With me, as always, Dave De Oliveira. What's happening, Dave?
What's going on, Alfredo? Good to be back. Another week, another podcast. Got the Freddies already in the chat. What are we going to talk about tonight? I see we got 3 points. Start off with the positive, work our way down from here.
Yeah. Sure, why not? Also with us, Cristiano Oliveira. What's up, Nick?
Oh, the sound effects. Yeah, podcast is taking another step. What's going on, guys?
What's going on, Cristiano? Long time no see, man.
Glad to be back here with you, gentlemen. Dave, Alfredo, miss you guys. Don't necessarily miss talking about this nightmare that is ongoing, but happy to be back. I just want to let you listeners, the Freddies, know that first you must smash the like button, and then second of all, listen. Don't come here complaining throughout the week on Twitter and whatever. Alfredo warned you guys in the pre-intro, whatever he's called, that I was here. So you guys had ample time to turn this off and disappear before I annoy you. So no complaints from you guys.
That's a great call. Cristiano, it's good for people to have options, right?
Of course. That's what life is about.
Yeah.
Option. But you got to make sure you make the right ones. Don't be Roger Schmidt and wait till the 89th every game and then too early.
Or not make him at all. Too early. It's been like that since last season. It's probably too late. Anyway, wanted to say hello to folks in the chat. Brunjul Rodrigues, Diogo Reis, Manuel da Cunha, Mike Madeira, Flavio Ferreira, Jason Gaidola. Evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And for those of you who are going to join us a little later, welcome, 533. Also welcome our friends that listen to us through Pema Media out there in West Coast of the U.S., and obviously, Benfica podcast is a project of Benfica Independent platform. We're founding members, part to be of it, and it's great. Before we get started, and tonight's menu, we're going to recap the Estrela. We're going to look forward to Moreirense. But before we do that, I wanted to say a quick word, obviously, and we'd be remiss not to touch on this. About Sven-Göran Eriksson's passing. As many of you, the podcast listeners, know, Cristiano and I had the pleasure and the privilege to interview Sven-Göran a few years back, and it was a great time. And it was, both for Cristiano and I was meeting a childhood hero, if you will, or this larger than life character that led Benfica to three championships in 5 seasons, and also 2 European Cup finals. So a name in a person, in a human being that has his place in Benfiquista hearts, but also Benfica's history as one of the coaches that arrived in Portugal and changed the way teams were being coached and trained at the time, seen as a revolutionary, but much more than that, a great human being. And you guys have all seen the outpour, both from the time where he announced that he was ill, that he was terminally ill, but also now the outpouring of love and support by numerous clubs, all clubs around the world, with Sven-Göran Eriksson's passing. So, but yeah, we wanted to remember him, and Cristiano and I have a good memory of him that will stay with us forever.
He'll be remembered as a gentleman. He was a gentleman towards us when we had the privilege, as you said, which is a key word, the privilege.
Yeah.
Speaking to Sven-Göran Eriksson, as I said on Twitter yesterday, I apologize to you personally, Alfredo, for leaving you out of my tweet. Afterwards, I said, damn, it's too late. I couldn't go and correct it, but I wanted to throw you in. But yeah, I remember that day. We woke up early, and bro, I kept like pinching myself. Like, is this real? Is this real? This is a huge influence on my life as a Benfiquista when I was a youngster. As I'm learning what Benfica is, as I'm falling in love with Benfica, he was the coach. He was the manager, whatever you want to call him nowadays. And as you said, the larger than life character. I cannot believe I was speaking to that person that I grew up idolizing on the sideline for Sport Lisboa Benfica, and then obviously left and came back, and he had so many, so much success throughout his career in football, and I still can't believe that I had that privilege, I had that opportunity. I'm sad that he's gone, but he's left great memories, and he'll always be remembered by us, the Benfiquista Nation, as one of us. And I'm thankful for his time at Benfica. I'm thankful for his few minutes that he gave us, the opportunity to speak to him. And I'm very honored that I did that. I'm thankful to the Benfica podcast. I'm thankful to you and everybody else, because that is a moment, that is a conversation that I will not forget as long as I live. So, thank you, Sven. Thank you, Benfica. And that's what Benfica is about. Those great moments, those gentlemen, those myths, those legends. And as he once said, at Benfica, finishing second is not an option.
Right.
It's about winning. And so God bless him and his family, and may he rest in peace.
Yeah. And the thing about these legends and people that we remember and cherish in our memories as kids growing up, and I think oftentimes they don't get the recognized tributes while they're alive, and I think Sven-Göran Eriksson's this whole process was something that was very, very planned, because he knew more or less how much time he had. But I'm glad that there was plenty of clubs, both the clubs that he coached, but other clubs that really cherished him as a human being, that did their tributes while he was alive. He had a chance to be at Estádio Luz, I think a couple months ago, with the legends that he coached at that time. So it was a nice tribute. And I remember when we first found out that Eriksson was sick, I think the biggest thing, and fans were complaining, said, "Wow, why isn't Benfica getting Eriksson to come and to visit the stadium and to spend some time in Lisbon?" And and Benfica in due time did do that, and I'm happy that they had the chance. To pay tribute
a lot of people jumped the gun and criticized him, but he couldn't, apparently due to health reasons, he couldn't make the trip to Lisbon earlier than that. But Benfica did, and it's something that will forever live in our memories. The former players that he coached, his former assistant coaches, everybody was out to greet him, and it was just one of those special moments that Benfica and Benfica fans are capable of acting, or in special events like this, in special situations like this, I should say, not events, but special situations.
Yeah.
And I thought Benfica and Estádio Luz did themselves proud. And I think he got the love that he deserved. He got the recognition that he deserved, not just from Benfiquistas, but from around the world. As you mentioned, they recognized him while he was still alive, and fortunate for him, he had some time that left, or not some time left, but he knew ahead of time how much time he had left, and I'm glad that he got to feel that love, because a lot of times when people are around, they don't get that love. It's once they're gone that all of a sudden people want to come out pour of support and love, and they don't get to recognize, they don't get to feel it, and he did. And so great job by Benfica. Great job by the footballing world. To show him that recognition and give him that love, man. And he was just an incredible man, not just a phenomenal coach for Benfica, but everywhere else he went. And then let's not forget when he arrived at Benfica in the early '80s, he changed Benfica and he changed Portuguese football.
Yeah.
For the better. It wasn't just the revolution at Benfica; it was a revolution in Portuguese football for the better. And so everyone in Portugal has fond memories of him, and even the opposition, even the opponents, recognize that what he brought to the country in terms of coaching and tactics and everything else was something that they weren't familiar with, and it revolutionized Portuguese football and for the better. So,
yeah, there's a funny story, and for you guys, this may seem something a little bit odd, but when Sven-Göran Eriksson got to Benfica's his first days of coaching, the players basically started preseason with the ball at their feet, and all of the players were like, "Aren't we going for long runs, Namata and Upinal?" And nope, you're not. Do you play when on the field? Are there trees? No. Then I guess you'd be training on the pitch with the ball. So that was just one like a little bit anecdote, just a little bit different concept, right, than what we had in the past, because it was always that physical work beforehand, before you even get to touch a ball. And when Eriksson came, he really changed that up. And I think something that it may seem like, oh, that makes perfect sense, back then was a concept never heard of, because teams were so used to going in the mata and just run. So just a little bit of tidbit of and we had a lot of good questions for him. If you guys have a chance, just go and look that up. I believe it's on it might be on Benfica Independent's YouTube channel. Just look for Sven-Göran Eriksson. It was 2-3 years ago, maybe, Cristiano, or a little bit more.
Something like that. No, it was probably 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that. 2-3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, just moving on to the next topic, and I wish this was a happier topic. I wish it was a happier topic, but maybe not so much. Benfica hosted Estrela da Amadora at Estádio da Luz this past Saturday. Trubin was in goal by Araújo, Otamendi, and Carreiras on the left. Auschness, Tino Barreiros, Kokshu, Presti underneath Pavlidis. Carreiras grabbing the starting spot after Best coming down with a hamstring injury that it looked like. But Christian, I know you haven't been here, but you and I have had conversations about how Benfica is lining up, and there was one thing that we always agreed with: Tino and Barreiros cannot play at the same time.
You trying to get me started this early into the podcast?
Fala, pá, you haven't been here in a while, bro. You got a lot to catch up, bro.
Man, I'm trying to make sure that people who tune in are not going to turn this off, once I start criticizing everything. But all jokes aside, though, man, I mean, look, what can you say, man? Honest to God, what can you say about that decision? It's not just a mistake that he committed once. It's a mistake that he's already repeated 3 times so far. I just don't understand, don't comprehend how he looks at this and thinks that it makes sense. And it's one thing to go into Alvalade or into the Dragão or into a Champions League opponent that's a tough team on the road and play with those 2 guys in the middle, because you understand you might not have the ball, might not be in possession as much as you would like, and you're going to need to clog up some holes, and you need to make sure that you're strong defensively. But no, this is on the road to Famalicão. This is at home to Casa Pia. This is at home to Estrela da Amadora. And again, you want to tell me you made a mistake the first game of Famalicão, which to me it's unfathomable. I still don't understand how he'd go into that game with that lineup. But again, mistakes do happen. And you build and you learn from your mistakes. But apparently he hasn't learned shit, because he keeps going back to the well with the same exact tandem in the middle that makes absolutely no sense. And again, you're playing at home against Casapia. You're playing at home against Estrela da Amadora. And I just don't comprehend how he doesn't see it. And maybe, maybe yo é que não percebo nada desta merda. Maybe I'm the one that's clueless.
You and thousands
I don't
of
know.
others.
But it just, I don't understand how you look at those two guys side by side and think, oh, gee, this is fantastic. I mean, these two guys are phenomenal on the ball. Both of them together can't, I mean, it's atrocious. I'm talking about in terms of with the ball at their feet, guys. Without the ball at their feet, one guy doesn't stop running. The other guy is really good at clogging up holes. And, as we said here on the podcast, and not just here, but I think all around the world, there's a lot of people who call him the octopus because his tentacles are everywhere. Not his testicles, his tentacles are everywhere. And he does a phenomenal job recovering the ball. But then when he has the ball at his feet, it's like, which way did he go, Bob? You know what I mean? It's completely lost. And now you have a clone of his side by side. And it just, I don't understand what Roger Schmidt is thinking. But then again, like he says, he I think it was against Estrela Maduro, or was it against Casapia, where he came out and he was like, I know a little. I know. In other words, he basically said, I know a thing or two about football. You know what I mean? Like he knows what he saw. That's what he said. And he's the coach, and apparently somebody that would higher up with decision making places that I am not. He thinks that Roger Schmidt knows what he's talking about as well. So. Who am I to say that they're wrong? It just makes no sense in my book.
Yeah, and Dave, João Mario wasn't even on the roster. So after what happened last game and some of the things that we read throughout the week, is that João Mario is trying to move on. Thoughts? Do you think there was Cristiano's gang that was out there whistling João Mario?
Like we said, the guy's got some faults to his game, and we don't want to count on him in the starting 11. But I still feel like there's a spot for João Mario on this team, if not in the starting lineup, definitely in the dressing room for that leadership, captaincy. But we, in the words of Roger Schmidt, we have to accept. He's on his way to Turkey. He's going to go with Rafa and play for Besiktas, it looks like. But yeah, not the best way to go out, but it is what it is.
You have to accept.
Here's the thing, Dave. I'd agree with you, right? I'd agree. A part of me agrees with half of what you said in terms of he can still be useful in the locker room because of his leadership. But where I don't align with you in that thought process is when you take into consideration that he is one of the top paid players on the team. I can't have one of my guys making that type of cash just be there for leadership purposes. You get what I'm saying, Dave?
For sure.
If you're making that type of money, you have to be a starter. Now, I absolutely have zero problems with him leaving due to what I just said. He's not a regular. He's not to Roger Schmidt he might be, but to the rest of us, he's not a regular. And I think when everyone is healthy and Di Maria is back and all that, he might not have a starting spot. But at the same time, he loves to play with like 11 center mids. So you never know. João Mario might fit into one of those 11 center mid spots. My biggest problem with this whole thing, and this is what I'm having huge problems comprehending and trying to make sense of what it is that Benfica is doing this offseason.
Yep.
The biggest problem I have is how do you go from, in the coach's mind, right? Because again, this is not my mind, right? This is Roger Schmidt, who named this guy a starter the first 2 games of the year. Then he gets whistled by some fans. I'm pretty sure his feelings got hurt or whatnot. To going from being a starter to, okay, yeah, good, you're good. You can be transfer listed. Go ahead. Peace out. I don't comprehend. Just like I don't comprehend Thiago Villa, who was on his way out. Then he comes into a game when the game was Benfica needed to unlock something because the game was just sitting there dull as shit, creating some opportunities, but not really dangerous opportunities. He comes into the game, gets a cross, Pavlidis scores, and he gets a goal, and all of a sudden, like, oh shit, he played well, so he's staying. You're no longer leaving. And then, it's just all these decisions are being made by the seat of their pants. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Where's the planning? Where's the decision, man? Where is your, your ideas before this whole starts? You've got your coach, your GM, right? In American sports, call it GM. We have all these plans made out ahead of time, how we're going to go ahead and accomplish some and get rid of these players. And all of a sudden, just because it's sunny outside, we change our mind. It's raining, we're going to change our mind again. I just don't understand how can a player go from being a starting 11 to then 3 days later not even being convocado, and then you're out the door. I don't comprehend.
Yeah, there's no. It doesn't seem that there's a clear direction for this club or a clear plan. And look, I hate to speak about opponents, but you look at Sporting, there's a clear direction there. They've been after this Greek guy for a while now, and they're not going to plan B or plan C. They know what they want, and they're going after it.
Yeah, but Alfredo, don't praise that, because if you want a guy...
I'm not praising. I'm just saying like in terms of planning.
But they're planning. They're planning. As of right now, their planning is atrocious as well. They identified this guy in May, and we're now here a week away from September, and the guy's not here. So what they're doing is shit.
We lost a little bit of Cristiano.
Hello?
Yeah, you're back.
There?
Yep.
Yeah.
I pressed mute by mistake. Yeah, what Sporting is doing is to me, it's another one that they're not capitalizing on what their game plan was going into the season. And you can't tell me, they identified a guy and they're sticking to it. Well, they have the luxury of having a striker that's scoring a hat trick a game, so they're not really in a rush to go get this guy. But at the end of the day, whether it's Benfica, Sporting, Porto, Real Madrid, Manchester United, doesn't matter. AC Milan. If you identify somebody, go get that done and go get it. Go get the player, as opposed to sitting here and try to, save a couple bucks here and make some more money here with this transaction. Bro, when you have a clear direction on where you want to go, you go get it. You don't wait until you lose points. And because in this campeonato, it's going to be very hard for teams to make up points. You get what I'm saying? Because the opposition is weak. I mean, Sporting is average. What are they averaging? 5-0 wins every single game. It seems like it's just, bro. Again, Benfica just needs the clear direction. I don't know if it's on Roger Schmidt. I don't know who it's on, but these decisions that are being made last second shows you a clear indication that they don't have a freaking clue.
Yep.
Simple as that.
I'm not going to disagree, and I understand the point that you're making about Ioannidis, but I do think when I look at the other side, I think that there's a lot more organization on that side than it is on ours. And it shouldn't be, right? Because we're the biggest club in Portugal. We got the most resources, at least on paper, that I know. I don't know about the financial situation. That might be a whole thing altogether. But it seems that this club has really gone downhill in terms of the direction, and especially after Rui Costa took it over. So, look, it is what it is. We're not. You guys already know how we feel about current state of the club, so we won't bore you. Just getting into the game here real quick. We got an early goal from Kokshu off of a Pavlidis assist in the 19th minute. Then Gouveia comes in for Auschwitz, who looks like a muscular injury. Yeah, go ahead.
And that was a beat to Alfredo. That was a beat. That was a gift.
It was a
19th minute. It was a beat. Was 19th minute, right? You just said,
19th,
I believe,
yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a beat to by the goalkeeper. If our goalkeeper gave up that goal, I'd be sitting here screaming. Yeah, that was an absolute beat to, and thankfully we got that, or else we'd be sitting here talking about another dreadful draw.
Yeah. Without a doubt. But the thing is that, so a little bit of an improvement over the game against Casapia, but not by much. Maybe just by the fact that Kokshu has started this game. So we know that.
You think so?
Yeah,
You
I
think so?
think that
I thought
he
that.
adds a lot more than João Mario.
No. Not that. Not that. I'm not talking about the
The
Coxon part.
improvement
I'm talking about when you said there's a little bit of an improvement.
a
I
little bit.
think the game against Casapia, I thought we created more chances.
Only in the last 20 minutes of the game. Because up until he made the substitutions against Casapia, where he brought in Kokshu, and he brought in Gouveia, the team was really not doing much. I mean, when you play with with four defensive players in the midfield, that all they don't know how to do is defend and plug up holes. You don't have anybody going forward. I thought that the addition of Kokshu brought a little bit more to this team, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. You guys might say that.
No, you're
Still
right. You're right.
was
Take
shit.
away 20 minutes. Take away 20 minutes and leave that on.
Yeah. But yeah. Second half substitutions: Di Maria coming in for Prestiani, Sanchez coming in for Tino. Then in the 86th minute, Rollheiser for Gouveia, who got hurt. It looks like shoulder injury. Cabral came in for Pavlidis. But look, just talking about Renato Sanchez, I think that a lot of us are a little bit suspicious in terms of how healthy Renato Sanchez is going to be throughout the season and how much contributions is he going to give this team. Clearly, as you see Renato Sanchez today or on Saturday as a player, he's very, very far from being at the even probably 80% of his capabilities and shape. She still looks like very slow, very, very rusty. And I'm fine with that as long as he progresses in the right way and then stays injury free, and he could maybe be one of those guys that comes in or starts in the midfield along with Tino. But I'll ask you this, Cristiano. Where do you foresee Renato being? Do you foresee him being the eight that pushes the ball with either Tino or Barreiro?
I'd actually play him and Koksu in the middle, forget Tino and Barreiro, but that's just,
that's a whole different term, man.
Yeah, it's a whole different term. But yeah, no, I do think if he gets to that level, once again, in terms of getting in game shape, that's the level I'm talking about. He gets back into game shape. He looked a little bit heavy. It was good to see him with a smile on his face.
Yep.
But he looks a little bit heavy. If he's able to figure that out, I think, he'll absolutely play that position. That's the type of player he's always been. That's the player that we need to replace the João Neves that we lost, and we haven't replaced him with anybody else. So yeah, I think he is Neves' replacement, but he needs to get fit. He needs to get into game.
Rhythm.
Fitness and stuff like that. And say, I do believe that that's where he's going to play. I just hope that you don't see Tino and Barreiro in too many more games together. So
yeah, not much story to the second half. Lots and lots of possession, but nothing progressive or nothing in terms of creating chances. And I can't help but to I think that there's no one out there, or maybe Cristiano, because I haven't heard his opinion about this, that thinks that Pavlidis is a dud. I think at this point we are not getting the ball to Pavlidis as we should. Cristiano, what's your take on Pavlidis? Stud or dud?
I think Pavlidis is a player, dog. I think he's legit. I do feel bad for him though. When you're playing with the type of stiffs that he's playing with, it's going to be hard when you anticipate or when you acquire this guy, right, to make you forget about Cabral and all these guys, and you anticipate he's going to score 20 goals or whatever it is, right, in a successful campaign for Benfica to be champ. He's going to have to score the 20, 25, 30 goals, and it's just like, bro, he's not going to get that type of service. He's playing with a bunch of stiffs. I'm pretty sure when he signed for Benfica, he's excited playing with the Di Marias of the world, and now he finds himself playing with João Mario, Barreiro. I mean, come on, dude. Look, I still have hope that that Roger Schmidt at some point wakes up, starts playing Di Maria on one side now. This other Mamadou, whatever his name is coming from Burnley apparently. He's a player that plays on the left wing, a lot of speed, a lot of intensity.
Sorry.
I'm sorry?
Amdouni.
Tá bem, Mamadou, Amdouni, é quase igual.
Mamaki.
But obviously these types of players would only help a player like Pavlidis. So I'm excited for the player. I like him. I think he's our best striker by far. I don't even think it's close. But yeah, every striker, I don't care who you are, you need service. You need to play with other players that create and can get you the ball in scoring positions. And I'm confident that Benfica will figure this out at some point. I just not confident that Roger Schmidt will figure it out as soon as I would like, though.
Yeah, the whole preseason to figure that out. Because Pavlidis has been with the team since the preseason. And he hasn't been able to figure out a way to...
He scored.
No, he scored, but he could have been a lot more productive.
What I'm saying, in the preseason, he was scoring a lot. He scored practically like every game he played in the preseason.
Yeah.
But then when you got to regular season, all of a sudden, we're going to play Eriksson, João Mario. I mean, we played two offensive players in Cristiani and Pavlidis, and everybody else is defensive-minded.
Right.
And I like Cristiani as much as anybody. I think the kid's future is bright. But he is not ready today. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to what I'm saying. Today, he is not ready to start for Sport Lisboa Benfica today. He's a player coming off the bench and getting his feet wet and learning how to become a professional, learning how to play in Europe and developing his skills and slowly being integrated into the lineup with time. But now becoming a starter ASAP. And then they wonder why they don't get results. And I like the player. It's not a knock on Cristiani. Not knocking him, but he's not ready.
Yep. Yeah, let's not forget that he's 19, folks. So 18. 18. So regardless of the flashes that we've seen from him, and he's got jingle, as Cristiano likes to call it, he's a kid playing amongst men, and he doesn't have yet his skill set sharpened up to play at that level today, as Cristiano mentioned, and I agree with that. And I hope that he doesn't. And here's another case where in the beginning of the season he was going on loan. Now all of a sudden he's a starter at the beginning of in the beginning of the preseason he was going on loan, and now he's a starter. But that just shows how adrift this team is, and whatever plan, whatever route this team is supposed to have, it's all over the place.
But Alfredo, let me interrupt you there. But with Cristiani, makes a little bit more sense in terms of the coaching staff changing their mind, because he had the whole preseason to change their mind, in which he did. Okay? So whether you like it or not, you understand it. The one that I don't understand is a guy such as Gouveia, who's ready to go, and then all of a sudden, because he had a decent performance, he's staying now. That one makes no sense. So obviously he didn't convince throughout the whole preseason, and you were fine with letting him go. And now because of a 20-minute performance, he changed the whole plan. That's the one I don't understand.
Yeah.
That one and many more.
Yeah,
At least Cristiani, look, he had an opportunity to convince. He did. What's his name? Shaldrup got injured, so it opened a door for him. Again, I don't think he's ready to start at Sport Lisboa and Benfica today. He's not at that caliber yet, but I could kind of understand their decision because he had ample time to convince them otherwise.
Yep.
But the other guys, the João Mario, who obviously stayed around for 4 or 5 week preseason, and they said, okay, this is going to be a guy we count on. So much so that he started the first 2 games of the season, and all of a sudden, like, oh shit, we're good. You can leave. Same thing with the Vinet, right? All these guys were important players for the team at one point. And then overnight, the decision was made to just let him go. Maybe, Dave, did the light bulb go out? What, the light went off?
The
what was it?
That light that Luis Felipe Vieira saw when he was going to fire Rui Vitoria, and then he saw the light. So maybe that's the light that's keeping them up. And I don't know if we haven't even mentioned the whole Marcos Leonardo now.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
That's the flip side of it too. All these guys that are staying, and now he's also on the way out too, for somebody that had high
Yeah.
hopes or that we were looking to count on too.
Yeah.
He's apparently on the way out too.
Who's that? Who's that?
Leonardo.
Yeah. Well, latest word is that they're not letting them out anymore. But again, until
Until it closes on.
September 1st ends, anything is possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Dave, what did you think of the game, Dave? And then we could wrap it up with some stats.
It's the same old shit, to be honest. Luckily, it's the summertime here in the northern hemisphere, so I'm not wasting my time fully focusing on the game. I'm either watching the game on my phone, doing other summer shit to keep my mind off the game and got one eye on the game and doing other things, because God, if it's gonna be another season like this, if these first three performances, we're in for a long season here. Lots of therapy sessions.
At least you have an excuse, right? That you watched it on the phone. You were paying, like, now picture me. I watched it and I don't remember half of it. That's bad.
That's PTSD.
That's bad.
You've blocked it out.
Yeah. Dave, stats.
Let's go with the negative here. 10 years that Benfica has scored such few goals through the first three rounds of the Portuguese league here. 4 goals through the first 3 games. Not since JJ's 2014-15 season has Benfica opened the season with such few goals.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you play with that lineup, right? I mean, you're not going to get many goals.
There's a lot of dry powder or wet powder.
I should see what the lineup was 10 years ago and compare to see.
No fire. Yeah, Dave, look that up. The lineup on the third game 10 years ago. Dave, I'll give the folks a stat. No saves for Truman in the second half. But look that up. I'm curious to see what the lineup in the third round was 10 years ago.
Yeah, okay. Arthur in net, Maxi, Andre Almeida, Luizão, Jardel, Eliseu, so 5 at the back there. Gaetan, Enzo, Salvio, Talisca, and Lima.
Oof. And they had a bad start with that team?
Was still playing right mid. He was playing the midfield position.
Yeah. Or Maxi was playing in the midfield. I don't know. And that was a team that started the season poorly. I mean, Cristiano, you look at that team and you look at this team. What team wins? No comparison whatsoever.
You got Nico Gaetan and you got Enzo Perez. That's it.
And you got Talisca, man.
You don't need to count even Talisca. Yeah, Talisca.
And Jardel in the center of the defense.
Eliseu, Popsicle. Popsicle was playing. Artur was shit, but
Artur was shit.
We forgive him.
Yeah, but going forward, man, that's impressive.
So who's in the midfield? Was Enzo? Who else?
Salvio, Gaetan.
So they didn't look. Think about that. They didn't even play defensive center mid. Because Enzo,
unless they were using Andre Almeida there.
Yeah.
On this lineup, they've got 5 defenders.
Because Salvio goes to the right? Gaetan goes to the left. Enzo goes to the middle.
Yeah, but Salvio goes to the right in a 4-3-3 though, Alfredo.
I think that's how they played. No, 4 or is it 4-4-2?
Well, they didn't have. Wait, hold on, because I haven't been paying attention.
David, who was in the front?
Start from the front
back.
So you had to, start from the front back, Dave.
So Lima, Talisca,
okay,
Salvio, Enzo, Gaetan, and then you have Eliseu, Jardel, Luizão, Andre Almeida, and Maxi.
So is Gaetan on the left, Salvio on the right? Yeah, maybe Andre Almeida.
Andre Almeida, defensive midfield.
Nah, probably Gaetan in the middle with Enzo. And then Salvio on the right. I don't know. What's that way?
Diogo Reis.
Talisca would have been the second. Talisca would have been the second guy behind.
Yeah, behind the forward.
Lima,
yeah. Very mobile forward line. Diogo Reis is saying that he spoke to Eliseu this summer at the Casa de Benfica in Toronto. And he says the man is not a fan of Schmidt. I think that Schmidt only has one fan in the whole wide world.
No, he's got a couple. His wife and his son.
His wife.
No, and his wife, his son.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to Auschwitz looks like 4 weeks. Gouveia 3 to 4 months. That's the time that it's projected that those guys are going to be out.
So what? So Benfica has to go to the market, no? They have to go to the transfer.
I mean,
and
a
they
right
have
back.
to bring somebody
You
else.
don't
in.
even have the sub of the sub for the right back if Ba gets hurt. Unless you go to you get the kid that played preseason. What's his name? Smith.
They played with Spencer.
No, Diogo Spencer.
Diogo
Yeah.
Spencer.
He's not even close to ready.
They've played. What's his name? They've played at Mazaruja, right?
Oh yeah, they could do that.
And they put Silva back in the middle with Otamendi. You still have Morato as the backup. You still have a center back on the bench if need be.
Well, unless we lose one along the way.
I mean, anything's possible,
Yeah.
right? Anything. These guys are dropping like flies, but
yeah.
I mean,
all right. Turning our attention here to Moreirense. Benfica will play Moreirense on Friday, 8:15 local. What's Moreirense up to this early in the season, Dave?
They've got the same record as us, 2 wins, 1 defeat that they just had this past weekend against Braga, 3-1 defeat. Historically, we've got 24 wins, 8 draws, and 2 defeats against them. Our last 10, not too favorable. Only 5 wins, 5 draws, and out of those 10, the last 5, 2 wins, 3 draws. So they're a pesky team that seems to always give us some difficulties. Last season, a 0-0 draw away and a 3-0 victory at home.
Yeah. And Moreirense, under the tutelage of Cesar Peixoto, won the first 2 games and lost to Braga in the last game that they played. Benfica will be in Moreira de Cónegos to play this game. So another difficult game up north, especially from what we saw from this team in Famalicão. And understanding that, after 2 seasons under his belt, Roger Schmidt doesn't understand that 90% of the teams in the Portuguese Tugão play with low blocks. And he has to get creative to get in behind the defense. But anyway, I don't want to beat that.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to ask this question, bro. But this is the only way I see it, right? But I have to ask it just to make sure I'm not the only one, or maybe I am. Bro, did Enzo Fernandez make that big of a difference? Because what the hell's happened to that Roger Schmidt the first 6 months? Where's that guy? Where's that coach gone? I mean, to me, it was Enzo. He made it all work.
I know.
Am I the only one?
What's
happened to that Roger Schmidt?
It was Enzo, and it was Grimaldo, it was Gonçalo Ramos, but I mean, we saw a significant drop when Enzo went to Chelsea.
No, but all those guys were still there, Alfredo. All those guys were still there. The only difference was Enzo.
Right.
That was gone. All those guys were still there, and we dropped a shitload of points in the second half.
Yep.
And luckily, there wasn't any more match days left because we finished the season 2 points ahead of Porto. And so all those guys were still there, Alfredo.
Yeah.
The only one missing was Enzo. And that coach, that same coach, that beautiful football was never seen again.
Yeah. No. It's on a milk carton. Where are you?
And lucky for him, he got the contract renewal during that time.
Right after during that time. Yep. It was perfect timing. Yeah, so it's going to be another tough game for Benfica up north, especially if we go and play with Barreiros and Tino, because Moreirense is such an attacking team.
I'm going to go a step further. You ready? You guys are ready? I don't think Barreiros is Benfica caliber.
I don't disagree.
When I say Benfica caliber, I'm talking about starting.
Straight up starter. Straight up starter.
Yeah.
Yes.
No questions.
He's not Benfica caliber.
No questions.
Sorry.
No question. No, you know what? I don't disagree with you. I even before he came, and I got a chance to watch some of his games as Mainz. He didn't didn't seem all of that, flashy. He just looked like a regular player that just with a lot of lung and a lot of reach.
I don't mind. I don't mind the flashiness when you're playing in that position. I don't mind the flashiness. You just have to get the job done.
Yeah.
But my thing is, with the ball at his feet, he's very like again.
Like Tino.
We got. That's what I was going to. We went and got a replacement, as quote unquote replacement for Tino, that is as is as limited as Tino was with the ball at his feet. So I mean,
It's a
these
carbon
guys
copy.
are doing a perfect job of getting a like for like. Phenomenal. Like nothing changes. Just fucking switch one out, put the other guy, put the monkey ball in the spares. We'll be just fine. I don't understand.
Yeah. No, it's a lot. It's a head scratcher. Of last season was a head scratcher. This season is going to be another head scratcher. And I seriously don't know how you want to be taken seriously as a team, compete in Europe and in a new Champions League format. I just don't know. I thought we were supposed to be building a strong team, and 3 seasons in, and usually the third season is really the pinnacle when the coach should have all his ideas down, game tactics, whatever, as built a roster to his image, because maybe that initial roster in the first season, he inherited some players, he got some players that he wanted. 3 seasons in, and it just
he's getting rid of all the good
ones. Talking about getting rid, I just want to run through a couple things here that have been mentioned in terms of transfers. So Amdouni, as Cristiano was referring to before, a forward/winger from Burnley. João is expected in Portugal at any time. Player wants to play. And
now we're getting players from Burnley
Burnley
from Burnley. We're getting players from Burnley to reinforce our height.
Yeah, looks like João Mario is headed to Besiktas. Marcos Leonardo, there was a millionaire offer from him from Al Hilal, but I don't know if he's going anywhere. It's very tempting.
Would you guys sell? Dave,
fuck
Alfredo,
no, I would not.
Yay or no?
No.
Would you sell?
No.
You, Dave?
What's the price?
30 million. I think
40 mil.
40 mil. And he's got 30 million over 4 years. I think he's going to make something like that.
Would you sell, Dave?
The thing is, he's not being utilized right now. So,
okay,
is his value going to get? Is the value going to get higher? That's what I'm saying.
Not if he doesn't play.
I'm thinking at 45. I'm thinking about it.
I would sell for 40. I would sell.
Not if he doesn't play. He's not going
I
to go up
want you guys. You guys have to remember my man couldn't assert himself over Artur Cabral. He's not.
Different players, bro.
But still, he couldn't. I'm just saying, like, yo,
he
that was there.
No. I got a better one for you. Couldn't assert himself over Tankstead.
Exactly. So again, I like the player, but I don't. Right now, he's not going to play. Unless he's on that 3-4 year plan, but Roger Schmidt might not last much longer. The new coach might come in, might not value this guy. So to me, look, again, it's the same thing with the Deviner. I love Deviner. I like him as a player, but I'm totally okay. I might be one of the few that is okay with him leaving. As good as he was with his feet, he was very inconsistent at times. And if he was not going to be a starter on this team, I was okay with him leaving. Now, my biggest problem that I have with the situation at Benfica is that they're losing players, quality players, players that contributed over the last 2 years, key players on this team, and they haven't replaced them yet. I'm okay with all these guys. I'm okay with Leonardo leaving. My biggest doubt, my biggest question is who's coming in to replace these guys. Yeah. And I don't think that they fill these holes quite properly. I mean, just like the rumor.
Same thing with Neres.
That, João Mario, well, it's going to be this Mamadou guy that's coming in from Burnley.
Right.
But now, you hear João Mario possibly going to Besiktas, which I think in terms of getting straighten out the books and clearing some salary, I think it makes all the sense in the world. And then the rumor is that they're very interested in Andre Almeida from Valencia, which makes a lot of sense because you have a Portuguese player leaving and they want to bring in a Portuguese player as well because of all the rules and regulations and forming a roster. So that makes sense. Now, you're going to bring in Andre Almeida, which to me is going to push out a Florentino because, again, you can't play all these guys together. Somebody has to sit in order for other players to play. If Renato is healthy, he's going to play. Coxu's going to play. Coxu's not going to play. I don't like he played against Estrela on the wing. I mean, I don't know what the hell this coach is thinking. And then if Andre Almeida comes in, he's going to play in the middle as well. So there's too many guys for very few positions. So I suspect somebody else might be leaving as well. But we'll see what happens. There's a week left.
Yeah, but Chris,
Let's hope that these guys figure it out.
There's a lot of games to be played.
No, you have one.
Champions
one
League, you got at least two more games in that first preliminary stage. You play 4 home and 4 away as opposed to 6.
See, I know.
So I think, look, I get it. I'm better with the fact that we have quality in the depth. So, and I agree with you. If João Mario's leaving, who's coming in for him? So I think it.
And then
we
you have
can't
to
keep losing quality.
You have to take into account. Gouveia is out for 4 months.
Yep.
All right, so that's another player you have to replace. Technically.
Yep.
Alston's out. Alston's only going to miss 1 game because after that there's the international break right after.
Yeah.
So he'll be all right. As Nuno said here in the chat, and I agree with him. And when he said that, I couldn't help but think about Hugo, because Hugo's always saying this. That Ba's backup or Ba will be the backup to eventually to Ausnes at right back. So when we talked about Mazaraújo playing as a right back, you have Ausnes there, as well, and then you're gonna have all these players. Hopefully, we'll see what happens, man. But we need some key players. We're losing the sexiness of the David Neres of the world, and now you're bringing in guys that you never heard of. That's not to say that these guys aren't good players.
Right. Until we see
them. But the sexiness and the sizzle is not there.
You talked about João Araújo, and the latest was that PSG is interested, but Schmidt did say he's staying, not going anywhere. Cabral's still rumored to be headed to Brazil, but Benfica was asking for too much money.
They also said João Neves wasn't leaving without the clause being triggered, and we know where it's at, Alfredo.
Now, Huadi, which is the right back from Genk, which I hope that he comes. I don't know how good he is, but certainly at this point with Ausnes being out, and like you said, Christina, maybe he misses maybe a couple games because of the international break. We could use as a backup or at right back. I don't think that Ausnes should be playing right back even as a backup, to be honest with you. So we'll see. And then that Ba is also injury prone. He hasn't gone a whole season without having injuries. And the other name that's being mentioned is Rui Silva, the goalkeeper from Betis, to come and compete with.
And the other guy, what's the other guy? Novo, right? Ricardo.
Velho.
What's the guy?
Velho.
No, the other way. I swear I wasn't even trying to be funny, but okay, Velho, that's what it is. I know, one or the other, Silva or Velho, yeah. Velho was phenomenal against us last year. I think that game put him on the. I mean, he was. I think he was the goalkeeper
pretty
of the
good
year, right?
Yeah, he was up there.
No.
I don't know if he was considered the goalkeeper of the year.
No, Costa, Diogo Costa.
The other thing that we got is Champions League new format. The draw comes out this Thursday. Benfica is in pot 2. So if you guys don't know, it's basically 32 clubs, four pots. Each team will play 4 home and 4 away. 2 opponents from each pot. The 8 best placed team go directly to the round of 16. 9th through 24th place will play a playoff of 2 legs, knockout stage, and they will then join the teams that went directly to the round of 16th. So
and the other 8 The other
The
eight,
other eight go home.
are eliminated right away. There's no going into the Europa League.
Nothing.
Like they go home.
There's no dropping to the Europa League. So a few more games for Champions League that we hopefully will play. But yeah, 3 games in and still a lot of questions for the Roger Schmidt, and we were hoping that the season would change, but you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But yeah, so we'll see what the season brings. Cristiano, always a pleasure having you. Do you want to say anything else before we close it up?
No, man. I'm glad we finished this early. Let's go. That's it. Hopefully, we'll be back here to talk about a more exciting game against Moreirense next week. I do think it's going to be a very tough game. I think going into Vila do Conde, right? I believe that's what it is.
Moreira de
Or am I
Cones.
wrong?
Moreira de Cones.
Where's Vila do Conde?
Rio Ave.
Aquela merda, everything's up north, bro. We see Rio Ave,
Rio Ave is
green
Vila
and
do
white.
Conde. Yep.
They're all green and white. They've been messing
close.
me all up. But
It's
yeah,
close.
Moreira do Conde, it's gonna be tough. I do hope that Di Maria is fit to play. We need some game breakers. We need some game changers
For sure.
and we'll see what happens. No, our sons no go.
Yeah. No,
Well, let's hope for the best.
I think that the biggest thing, and I think where Portuguese teams may have an advantage, and I don't know if they're going to take advantage or not, the Big Five and most of the leagues will close up on the 31st, which is on Friday. So there will be guys that will probably need to be placed or be excess that Portuguese teams could still get to within those couple days, because it only closes on Monday for Portugal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the first, right? The first.
Yeah, the first. For everyone else is, I think Friday is the close of market. So we'll just have to wait to see. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us here on the chat. Sorry I didn't go to a lot of questions, but we had Cristiano here, and we kind of wanted to make it quick. And Cristiano will be back next week too, God willing.
God willing.
Yeah, but we will recap the draw, look ahead at Benfica's opponents, break down the Moreirense game, and then we got international break. Thank you so much for being here. Love you guys. Cristiano, Dave, always a pleasure, my friends. Take care.
Abraço.